Hey, Michael from Black Snow Comics here. It's kind of funny, you do something long enough and people start coming to you for advice. A lot of times I get people asking me how I got to where I am with drawing. And they say things like, oh, I wish I could draw like you. They look at some of my stuff and say, oh, I wish I could do that. Well, I mean, you can. I'm not some kind of prodigy or anything. It's not something I was just born with. It's something that I've honed over the years, and you can too if you want. So you want to be a better artist, and I've got a few tips for you. This isn't going to be like any kind of quick tricks or anything. This is just kind of some more common sense advice and what's worked for me. That's all I could really tell you. But if you're watching this, I assume you want to hear it. So it's going to sound really simple, but you probably heard the old joke, how do you get to Carnegie Hall practice? Well, it's the same thing with this. I remember I heard a quote from Stephen King. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he talked about how does he write so much a day. He says he writes 2,000 words a day, and it's because he takes time where he says, this is the writing part of the day. I have to sit down and work on this. And you can argue if you don't like Stephen King, you don't think he's that great, but you can't argue that he's prolific and he's had a major impact on our culture. And it's the same thing. If you take time to draw regularly, you'll get better. You just need to draw. Right now I'm in the middle of doing a thing where I've decided to draw every day for 2019. And that's going to be a challenge because, I mean, you got to take the time to do it. And one of the things I've had some trouble with in the past is consistency. I'll draw a lot. Like maybe I'll spend 5-6 hours drawing every day for 2 weeks. Then I'm burnt out. I don't want to draw for like a month. It might be different if that was like my day job, getting paid to draw that, but it's not. And it probably isn't for you if you're watching this video wanting to know how to get better. So practice makes perfect, they say. There is no real perfect, but just doing a lot of drawing. Try drawing a lot of different things. If there's particular comic or even better artists that you like, figure out what it is you like about that artist. One of my favorite comics is Hellboy. I really like Mike Mignola's work. So I've taken the time to really go through it with a critical eye and say, what is it exactly that I like about it? And I try to kind of duplicate it at times. I'm not saying like rip off your favorite artist. That's not going to lead you too far. But take aspects of what you like about them and work it into your work. And maybe at first it's kind of ripping off them, where you're just drawing what they drew just to get the hang of drawing it yourself. I grew up loving Calvin and Hobbes. I love the line work on it. I love the way he presents kind of the world, especially when it's in nature and stuff like that. So that's something I've tried to draw and bring into my stuff. I love the old Scud the Disposable Assassin series. I like the way Rob Schrab puts movement into everything he does, even though it's cartoony. It's not exactly what I want to do, but I try to incorporate more of that into it. So just take things that you like, and there's a lot of great people out there. Some of them even do tutorials straight for you. One thing that I did last year was I watched a bunch of these tutorials Jim Lee's put out about shadow work and shadowing on faces, on hands, on different body parts. I thought it was pretty helpful. Don't get too caught up in your head about what you draw. Just get it out there. If it sucks, that's okay. You move on to the next drawing. That's one thing I had trouble with. I would sit down and I'd be kind of paralyzed. It's almost like writer's block, artist block. You sit down, you think, I don't know what to do. And then when you do it, you don't have the confidence in it, and it comes out bad, and then you say, well, that sucks, I don't want to draw anymore, and you crumble it up halfway through. Just finish what you're working on, do it to the best you can. If you don't like it, set it aside, start your next one. That's the nice thing with this drawing every day. I draw something, I finish it. Do I love them all? No, but I like majority of them. And then when it's done, I get to do something new the next day. It used to be I was very critical of my own work. I wouldn't want to look at it at all. And then just through practice, I've gotten to the point where I like most of what I draw, and I actually draw things that I would hang on my own wall, which was not something I would have said in the past. And once you really start drawing a lot and you find things you like about it, you'll start to find your style. And that's something that could take different amounts of time. That could be tricky. But when you start finding your own style, you'll find what you enjoy drawing, and you'll find what you're good at drawing. And it's good to play to your strengths. I've got a pretty decent understanding at this point of what I enjoy drawing, what I'm good at drawing, and what I'm not so good at drawing. Some people are really good at drawing manga fan servicey stuff. Some people sit there and just draw like hot women all day and draw them in seductive pinup poses, and that's what they're into. Some people like to draw more serious, gritty, dark, kind of graphic novel aesthetics, which is kind of more where I lean. Some people are more into cutesy stuff. Just whatever you're into, you hone it. Just once you figure out what you're good at, then you start focusing on that more and more, and people appreciate your skills that you've grown there. So it just takes time to learn who you are as an artist, kind of what you want to say. It gets tricky if you're being paid to draw something. I've been paid to draw things that I don't really like, or I'll draw the thing I like, then the person doesn't really understand, they want to make changes. That stuff, it is what it is. But if you're drawing mainly for yourself, that's not such an issue. And I would suggest that this is to be drawing for yourself. You may not even show it to other people. It may just go straight in your sketchbook. But just draw a lot. Don't give up. Don't get down on yourself. And eventually you'll get there. Your hand will get steadier. You'll learn kind of little tricks. You can learn to kind of disguise your weaknesses as well. There's tricks you can do to appear to be a better artist than you are, really. I mean, there's a lot of things with shading or things that can make your art stand out more. But I wouldn't focus on like tricks. I would just learn and get good, basically. So that's pretty much what I have to say about that. Just practice, and eventually you'll get there.